publish them as I receive them, so you can see the question, and then I'll answer it. I'm not going to answer it like in the chat back to you. I'm literally just going to give the answer. All right, so send them over. Okay, I got a question. So let me publish that, and hopefully I could still see it. I think it went published. Okay, will students that were on Discovery Program get the offer in the My Schools website so we can accept? Yes, you should have done that already. If you haven't done that, and if you don't see the offer there, just shoot me an email, and my email is dnewman2, DNEWMAN, the number 2, at schools, with an S at the end, .nyc.gov, dnewman2 at schools.nyc.gov. And I can figure out what the issue is, and make sure you're all on board. Okay. So I'm seeing here another question about Discovery. It hasn't been updated on my school's website. So if you accepted the Discovery, send me an email and I'll just verify that we have you and everything's copacetic. All right. So do that. Okay. So here's a question. What do I as a parent need to do before day one? You don't have to. Gym uniforms they could buy when they get to school in our SGO store. They're included in the gym package. Is a locker for so it's a gym uniform. It's shorts or sweatpants, a shirt, and a lock. And so that's that. You do have to use our locks. Therefore, if you lose the combination or something, we could open the locker for you. So you have to use our lock. Okay, moving along. More questions about my school acceptances. All right, if you're, it should be good. You could send me an email. It should be good. If it sounds like Michael, it sounds like you did. So you were told to respond, but our offer is still not posted. All right, make sure, so you haven't accepted yet. I would reach out. You can reach out to me. I'll probably forward it to high school enrollment. That is high school HS enrollment at schools.nyc.gov. They'll answer you very quickly. The person who actually answered that email is a tech alum who works over there. But we'll get it squared away. Don't worry. Just make sure you show up on the first day. Okay. That being Thursday. And by the way, on Thursday, we're going to have an interesting schedule. That school starts where only the 9th grade comes in at 8 o'clock. And they come in for 40 minutes to get a little oriented, squared away, and then the rest of the school comes in 40 minutes later. And then we do an auditorium piece with the 9th grade, and then they'll start their schedule, their first period, with everybody else at 8:45. But I'll send that out email tomorrow on when you should report and whatnot. Do kids need a specific type of laptop, a Mac, a PC, or Chromebook? This is sort of interesting. A vast majority of students do not bring laptops to school. We have laptops if you need laptops, like in a particular class, but it's rare to see a student bring a computer to school. If you're just asking at home what's best, anything works at home. That's not a big deal. But most students don't bring their laptop to school. It doesn't mean you can't, but most students don't. When would the kids find out their homeroom assignments? We don't do homeroom. And so the first day, all the 9th graders will come to the auditorium, and we'll just do a little thing with them, but everybody will be in the auditorium at the same time, 1,500 kids all in the auditorium, but there is no homeroom beyond that. I'm going to send out a thing so how you could see your schedule, and you can go online and see your schedule. But for the 9th graders, just in case, they can't get into the flow of things, we will print out their schedule for them and give it to them in the auditorium when they first arrive. The upperclassmen will will get their schedules online. That's that. But there is no homeroom, not weekly, not once a semester, no homeroom at all. Okay, I think I published that. When will the scaffolding come down? Good question. So there's a project that's been going on for many years on the roof, and it's rebuilding the parapet. It's about 3.5 feet of the top of the building. 90-year-old building. The roof gets the brunt of all the weather over time, and it's decaying, and we literally have to rebuild bricks, everything, the top 3.5 feet of the building. And we've been doing that. I think we're in, I don't know, I feel like we're in like year 4, maybe year 5 of a 2-year project. They tell me that it should be done by the end of the year. I'll believe it when I see it, but it is a complicated project, and every time you pull bricks away, you find something else wrong. You got to figure out how to fix that. So it's been a real ongoing thing, but a lot of work is being done after school is over. They can't do work while the school's taking place. So after school is over, literally every single day, there are people all over that scaffolding and all over the roof doing work. So hopefully sometime soon. I think I published that. I'll publish it again. Okay, our son was not able to attend orientation. When we get a schedule, so your schedule will be available online. I'll be able to show you. I'll send you an email on how to see your schedule, but you'll also get it day one. Okay, in the auditorium when they first report. Okay. All right. My son mentioned wearing a shirt with the school logo. Is that daily? That there's not uniforms, but our gym uniform is a shirt with the school logo. That's so we can identify kids, especially if they're going into physical education outside the building. So they have gym, which we call physical education. It is every other day. And so they will have it 1 week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, the next week, Tuesday, Thursday, and then it keeps on going. So it's every other day. Most kids just change into their tech school logo shirt just for physical education, and then they change out of it afterwards. Okay. So I don't know how many gym uniforms you really need to buy. I mean, many people get one. Some people get two. Many people will get one gym uniform and then just get like an additional just shirt and not, another pair of sweatpants or shorts. Okay. To reset your PIN, to get into your DOE student email, you are going to, I'm publishing the wrong one. I'm sorry. When I publish it, it sort of disappears. Oh, that's awesome. Okay. I just realized that. Okay. All right. Oh, then I have to read them from the publishing. Okay. So I'm going to read them first, then publish them. Okay. I see what's going on now. So I just lost the question. Hold on. Let me see if I can find it. All right. I think I'm good. Hold on 1 second. Now I got to get back to the bottom of the list. All right. I published that one. All right. I'm just now publishing ones that I missed, that I answered, but I didn't publish before. Okay. What time does this freshman student have to be in school on the first day? As I said, it's going to be 8 o'clock. That's you're just going to come in at 8 o'clock, and we're going to do a session in the auditorium at 8 o'clock for everyone. They won't start the classes till 8:45. How long are the lines to enter school in the morning on a regular school day? It's not bad at all. I mean, there are lines, but it's very efficient. You get these ID cards, and they just literally swipe through the machines. We have multiple machines. I mean, also all kids don't start at the same time. Some start first period, some start second period, some start as late as third period. So it's not 6,000 kids coming in at the very same time. It usually doesn't take more than a few minutes. On the first day, it'll take a little while, but it usually literally doesn't take more than a few minutes to get in. Okay. Does Brooklyn Tech have an app or only the website? Really only the website. There you could see it in an app version. Well, like a version for your smartphone. But we don't have a solo app per se. Okay. I'm gonna put. Can I put my email in the chat? Let me see how I can do that. I'm gonna try to do that. I am gonna write it in the chat, and hopefully you could see that. Okay, I just sent it. I think you could see it, maybe, hopefully. Okay. Yes, you should be able to see it. All right, now when I go back, I gotta go all the way to the bottom of questions. All right. Sorry, every time I do something, I gotta get back into the questions. Okay, so I put that in the chat. All right. How does a cycle schedule work? And is it clear to parents what cycle their kids are in? So a cycle schedule is we have a 10-day cycle schedule. So just look at it like Monday through Friday, let's say the first week, even though we start on a Thursday, which is a long story, but I'll explain that in a moment. So let's say a week started on a Monday, right? So Monday would be day 1, Tuesday would be day 2, Friday would be day 5, right? So it goes 1 through 5. The next week is 6 through 10, right? So this really comes into play, obviously, physical education, right? You might have it 1, 3, 5, right? And then 7, 9, right? So therefore, you have it Monday, Wednesday, Friday this week, 1, 3, 5, and then next week, 7, 9, Tuesday, Thursday, right? And then it goes back to 1 through 5 and whatever. There's also days that we have breaks and stuff, and it sort of plays in. So Thursday is not a day 1 because it's the 4th day of the week. So Thursday is going to be a day 4, and then Friday is going to be a day 5. And then the next full week of school, the second week, will be a 6 through 10. And then we'll go through 1 through 5 and then 6 through 10 again, right? And so it does come up. You have lab only once a week. You have advisory almost once a week. And so these come in on particular days. And so that's why the 10-day schedule works out. Kids get used to it. Most of their classes are not a ton of 10-day schedule. Lab is, PE is, your English class and your DDP will be because they alternate days and double periods. All the other classes won't be, and they'll just meet every single day. Okay. Hopefully that didn't confuse you. So, when will student schedules be available? You should be able to see your schedule. I would say you should be able, honestly, to see it tomorrow. I will send out something tomorrow on how to see your schedule as well. And that's that. But no big deal. If you can't figure it out, we'll just hand it to all the freshmen day 1. How will students be able to access their schedules? All right. If you don't have a My Students account, just wait till day 1 and we'll figure it out. We'll get you a My Students account. You came from a private school or whatnot. And we'll hand you the schedule on Thursday. Can kids leave in the middle of the day on their own? For example, if they have a doctor's appointment or a parent has to sign a student out. If the latter, where do we go to sign them out? Students may not leave on their own. They cannot leave at all on their own. They must be signed out. A parent or somebody else on the blue card can come and get them. And then it gets handled mostly through our parent coordinator office. It's not a big deal. You just arrange to come and then pick the kid up. So it's no big deal. It'd be great if you could tell us beforehand. If you don't, that's fine too. You just coordinate with your kid when you're going to show up, and then we deliver them to you at the door. So no big deal. You don't have to. Most of the time you don't even have to come in the building. You just wait and we bring the kid to you. Will the kids be using computers often? Do they need to bring their own? So I answered that a little bit already. No, you don't need to bring your own. And all students have DDP, which is design and drafting for production, computer-assisted drafting, prototyping, and whatnot, all done on computers. So in the very least, they'll be on computers every other day. Most classes, though, your regular run-of-the-mill English, social studies classes don't use computers often. When they use computers, they'll bring a laptop cart into the classroom and provide those. There is never a time they're like, bring in your computers. There might be a time if, many students have cell phones. We utilize them in a very positive way. And there might be a time where a teacher says, pull out your cell phone and do this, whatever. It's not mandatory. If people don't have cell phones, no big deal. You could share a cell phone with somebody and whatnot. Mostly they're just to like take surveys and whatnot, live feedback. And so some teachers are very good at having kids use cell phones. Some absolutely don't use them at all. Okay, so there's that. Okay. I saw there's a link to purchase the mandatory gym uniform online, but the online store does not show which items are the mandatory uniform. Oh, that sounds confusing. Okay, no big deal. You can't figure that out. Just go to the student store the first day, and you want to make sure you're buying the right thing, right? And so just send them to the student store and they can purchase it right there and walk out with it. What time students have to be on the school on the first day, and what door may they enter? You're going to come in likely on what we call the center west side of the building, and that's Fort Greene Place in the middle of the building. That's actually the address of the school, brings you right there. And all ninth graders are going to be in at 8 o'clock. Who can I email my child's medical forms to? Okay, it depends on what the medical forms are, but I would email them. To our health and safety department. You'll find on the website. It's Miss Iacono. You could email her right from there. What do students need the first day of school for classes? They need to bring a good attitude and they need to bring probably a pen and some paper. Besides that, you don't really need much. We don't have a elaborate or really any like school supply list, right? Whatever they choose to write with and whatever they choose to write on is going to be okay. Some classes have some requirements. You're going to find that to be rare. And so basically just something to write on and something to write with. Are students able, I guess, BYOD is bring your own device. You can if you want. And as I said before, most students don't, but you surely can if you want. All right, hold on a second. All right, I'm moving along. What does the schedule look like the first day? Ninth graders are going to come into the auditorium, as I said, at 8 o'clock. Classes will begin at 8:45 and they'll go through all their classes. Instead of them being the normal 41 minutes, they'll just be 37 minutes. But besides that, it's business as usual. When do they get their Brooklyn Tech email? That's probably going to take a few weeks in. The upperclassmen will have it, but freshmen it'll take them a couple of weeks. Is it cash only, and how much for the gym package? I do think they accept credit card. I do not know the amount of the gym package off the top of my head. Yeah, it should be on. You should get a good idea off the website. I sent an email high school enrollment about Discovery program. They tell me it will not be updated. It will not be updated by the end of this month. This month being, is this month being August or this month being September? I mean, we'll work it out. If you have any questions, just you can email me and I'll verify that everything's copacetic and you're enrolled in the school and everything's fine. Are there different bell times? Yeah, I mean, they're not really different bell times, but there are. You might start first period, you might start second period, you might start third period. So I guess that's what you're asking. So it's just based on when your classes lay out. So there's surely kids who have like 2 through 10th period. There's some kids who have 1 through 7th period. It's just sort of how the classes that you need lay out. Our daughter may have missed the track and field trial. Can she still join the team? You need to contact the athletic director or the coach of the team if you know who that is. The athletic director is Mr. Ciccolini. You could find him. He also happens to on the school website. You can email everyone, including me, through school website. He also happens to be our athletic director. I said that. I mean, he also happens to be our assistant principal of physical education. So you should be able to find him very easily on the website. Okay. So I said already, all ninth graders have to be in at 8 o'clock. All right. Giving kids don't have lockers was the best way to store things throughout the day, particularly in the winter. So there are lockers. You can easily get a locker. Lockers are inside the classrooms. Normally, students may get their locker in their first class of the day or their last class of the day, right? Whichever, some kids like it in their first class of the day, so they drop off whatever they need in the beginning. Some kids like the last class of the day because then they're in there and then they get their stuff. So they run there before, their class starts and they put their stuff in the locker and then it's there for them on the way out. But they're in the classrooms. Students shouldn't have a problem getting a locker. All right. Is there any transportation between Brooklyn Tech and Queens? Other than Brooklyn, public transportation, no. There's been over the years talks about getting buses, private buses, from Staten Island to Brooklyn Tech, from Queens to Brooklyn Tech. It's sort of never materialized. It's not something the school be involved in. If parents want to get together and try to figure that out, they surely can through the PA, but it's just something that hasn't really come to fruition yet. How often do you do fire drills? So there's a mandatory number of fire drills, 8 by December 1st, 4 more in the spring. Then there's other types of drills that we must do, lockdown drills and whatnot. So there's a mandatory number. We want to practice things in the beginning of the year. So and the weather's better. So there's a disproportionate number of drills earlier on. So we're not giving you like 5 drills in November, but you surely might get 5 drills in September. Students get all their items, Omni cards, ID cards within the first days. Are ID cards required within the first week? So on the very first day, we're going to give you an ID card, and it's not going to have your student's picture on it yet. But it'll have their name and their information. It'll get them in, and then like a month down the road, we'll swap out and we'll give them a new one that has their picture on it as well. They're going to get their Omni cards on the first day of school, so they'll be able to go back and forth in public transportation. AP Biology was offered to eligible students during spring break. Yes. Can a student select AP Biology when school starts? Maybe. We have an add drop period in literally the first day of school. So you want to put in that you want to add AP Biology, and then I guess I would imagine that you have physics and you want to drop physics. You could do that and we see if we have space. Sometimes we pair people up. Sometimes after the first day, some kids are taking AP Biology and like, nope, I don't want this. I'll go for physics. So we try to find some swaps, but we do leave a few seats available. So it is possible. On the very first day, once again, you'll get all the information on how to file electronically for an add or a drop or a change of schedule. Will there be a specific entrance that students get at the first grade? Yeah, that's going to be our Center West entrance. The address is school 29 Fort Greene Place. So you go there, it's Fort Greene Place. That's the side of the building. How you send the email? My child's major. Oh, you gave me a name of your kid. But I haven't gotten any information about orientation. I just happened to be in the Zoom from another parent. Okay. I'll respond to your email. I believe you emailed me today. Okay, we'll figure it out. Sorry, it's been a little difficult getting you on board, but I'm not going to publish your question. But for your child major, but I'll address it after this. And we'll get you on board. Can students take notes digitally on an iPad with a stylus? Sure. Are students going to be lugging around heavy textbooks on most days? Likely not. Textbooks, some of our textbooks are like virtual textbooks, you access them from home, virtually, but there are a whole slew of physical textbooks. Usually you get them, and then you bring them home and you leave them home. That's to do homework. No one's doing classwork out of a textbook. So there might be a couple of days where you're lugging home a lot of heavy textbooks just to bring them home and leave them home. And then at the end of the year, there'll be a couple of days where you're lugging them all back. So there'll be that. I believe sports these practices are 3:45 each day. Will class schedules accommodate team practices? Absolutely. Our last class ends at 3:34, so you have time to get to practice. Okay. If a student technically passed the Algebra 1 Regents but didn't do terrifically, can you request a student repeat Algebra 1? No, you can't repeat Algebra 1. You could retake the Regents, but you can't repeat the course if you pass the course. Do students receive discounted fares for Long Island Railroad? Yes. I don't know how much it is, but you are going to go to 1W2, and you're going to see Miss Ivy Chan, 1W2, and you're going to get the paperwork signed for you to be able to get the discount to Long Island Railroad. I don't know how much of a discount it is. Do get books? Yeah, sure. Of course they get books. But there's an array, Some teachers rely heavily on a textbook. Some teachers sort of create their own textbook through documents that they want you to read and whatnot. Some teachers give you handouts every day, and don't use the textbook at all. Some of the textbooks are virtual textbooks. It's sort of, different per class. What's the best way to store backpacks, jackets in between class during the day, particularly in the winter? I think we got that one. There are lockers. Oh, I published the wrong question, and now I lost that question. Okay, I'm going to go back and see what I got. What do they see schedules, and how can I ensure my child has access to that? I'll send you how to see schedules, and so you'll be. I'm going to just dismiss all these things. So I'll send you how to access schedules. You can't figure it out, no big deal. You'll just have to wait till the first day, and then you'll see their schedule. All right, I am just now catching up to where I was. Sorry, I left the screen. Now I got to go back. All right, we're up to 440 people, and I still got 300 questions to answer. All right, keep them coming. All right. Okay. All right, I'm getting back where I was. All right. Okay, I'm hearing about a new DOE rule of no phones. Can I speak to this? Sure. I am a staunch advocate for students actually being able to bring phones to schools. The DOE is listening to me a little bit, and the powers that be. We just find it. Look, sometimes it's distraction. There's some kids pull out their cell phones and text inappropriately. Sure, inappropriately being not like the text is inappropriate, but just them texting at all is inappropriate. And and the teachers will have to manage that. If kids are not listening to that, we do take their phones away, and then parents have to come pick them up. But there's a lot of benefits to using in the classroom. And I don't mind on down periods or lunch if kids want to do whatever they want to do on their cell phone. It's fine with me. And so, but anyway, it seems like lately I've been reading the news just as much as you that the mayor is sort of backing away from a little bit. I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon, but we'll see. But I am personally advocating on behalf of your kids to be able to keep cell phones at school. And to, on your person. Besides the fact that collecting cell phones for us would be insane. And we wouldn't be able to collect 6,000 cell phones. So yeah, and give them back every single day. That sounds insane to me. Are kids allowed to use a tablet for note taking? Absolutely. Ninth graders will get their schedule on the first day, not in advance by email. Louisa, you're going to be able, I'm going to send you directions to go on to in your NYC student account and be able to see your schedule. If it doesn't work, you can't figure it out, whatever it is, we're going to give them a paper copy on the first day. So don't worry. And so we give it to them in the beginning of the day before they go their schedule, about 40 minutes before, and then they'll know where to go. Okay. If a student doesn't have a PC at home, does the school provide it? Sort of, yes. We'll figure out the situation. But if they don't have any access to any computer, we can figure it out. So it's not really the school that provides it. There's something you fill out, and the DOE actually sends you a computer directly to your home, I believe. Or they might send it to us, and then we give it to you. But one way or another, we'll figure it out. I will say this, your kid needs a computer at home. So if you don't have a computer at home, contact us and let's get on that paperwork right away. My son has 504 accommodations since third grade. What do I need to do to prepare for this school year? Okay, I'm not gonna publish your name, but I mean, I don't know how to answer that question. I don't know what your accommodation is. And I don't think you would have to do anything different than you would normally do. If you want the accommodations, if they're you need them to be altered in some way, you're obviously going to contact our AP of Special Ed. That is Mr. Jacob Brodsky. Also can email through the website. If you have any concerns, I would say just reach out to him right away. And that's that. But without knowing the accommodation, I don't know how to prepare your kid for the school year. So I would reach out to him if you have any questions directly. I believe sport team practice at 3:45. Oh, I answered that already. Yes, class does go past 3:34. Okay. When do we purchase gym uniforms? You can purchase them online. You could also purchase them the first day of school in the SGO store. Is my son going to get a DOE computer? No. So you're not going to get a DOE computer. If you don't have a computer at home, that's a different story, but no, we don't give computers to all kids. Okay. What time does school end? It depends on your schedule, the kid's schedule. So it could end as late as 3:34. Many kids get out periods before that. It just depends on what your schedule is. If you have a later schedule, you're likely to go the end of the day. If you have an earlier schedule, you're likely not to go. Can I explain how the major system works? Okay, I'm going to give you this. You're going to get so much information on majors, but I'm going to knock it out a little bit just to explain it briefly. Majors start in junior year. It is 3 classes in the junior year, 2 classes in the senior year. Instead of having electives, we choose your 5 electives for you based on the major that you choose, right? In sophomore year in the spring, we will have a major fair, give you an onslaught of information about everything about majors. Students will rank their choices, and then we'll have, major acceptances and let you know what major you get into, and that's it. Majors are a really big deal in our school. It makes our community a lot smaller. Kids love our major classes. And that's it. So you'll get so much information about it. But you apply for a major around February of 10th grade, and then it starts obviously in 11th grade. Do incoming sophomores report to the auditorium as well? Yeah, why not? I'll send you an email. I'll tell you to report too. That's fine. My child took a Spanish exam yesterday, but he really wants French. What would he be put in Spanish class? Could he take French? I'd reach out to the assistant principal of world language and see what you could do there. You'll see it right on the website. All the administrators. Her name is Christina Santiago Campbell. All right. Heard there may be a citywide bone ban. I answered that one already. When students get their Metro card, they get their Omni card the very first day on Thursday. Are there specific school supplies that kids need to bring? Nope. Something to write with and something to write on. That'll get you through day one. It is rare for you to need any special supplies beyond that. What if you need to change your schedule? How do students do that? There are airdrops the very first day of school. You'll fill out an electronic form. We'll send out the information, and that's it. And we see how we could accommodate different things are prioritized in different ways. I mean, some people, their schedule for some reason is actually wrong, and obviously prioritize that. But you want a class that you didn't get or whatnot. We sort of figure that out. That stuff is mostly for upperclassmen who do have a lot more choice than ninth graders in the class that they take. When will students receive their IDs and Metro cards? Once again, ID without your picture on the first day, Metro cards, Omni cards, first day. My child's yet to receive his BTH email address. That's going to happen. That's going to probably take like a month. All right. But we will continue using your NYC students accounts. And to be honest with you, we're going to mail everything to your NYC students accounts. So it's not like you exclusively need to move over to BTHS. What's the, I don't know. Okay. So I answered that question about BTHS email. Yes, subway pass is on the first day. What time they report to day one? Yeah, I know I'm I'm about half an hour behind on questions, so I'll bear with you that they seem to repeat it. They're going to report at 8 o'clock. All ninth graders, 8 o'clock on day one. I promised the wrong one. I think it was something about lockers. Yes, we have lockers. Can students find all the homework materials for class? So you're not going to see it right now. They're going to post it in their Google Classroom. They being the teachers. They are in Google Classroom and they could see it. So there's that. Is there a club fair? Absolutely. It'll probably be about 3 weeks into the semester. We do have about 300 clubs. If they get their schedule and has a question, want to change it, who they see and when, you're going to fill out the form, as I said, the airdrop form, very first day. Can you tell me more about the leadership class, the scope, length, how do you get assigned? So if you're interested in leadership, you get assigned to a leadership class. It's likely going to be at the very end of your day. And that's that. It doesn't meet every single day. It meets every other day. And that's it. You learn a lot of stuff, and you get the leadership classes taught by the freshman COSA. And it's great. It's great to get involved, and it ramps up right away. This is also obviously the trajectory for students who want to be school leaders, want to be in elected positions and whatnot. You get a lot of information in those classes. It's very cool. You need to, so you could buy it online, the gym uniform. You could buy it in the store on the first day. General school supply list be sent out. We don't got that, and so just bring something to write with and something to write on. You should be good. Is there a deadline to have gym uniforms? You need to get them right away. And so you're going to start being marked unprepared from the very beginning, and then you're not going to be able to participate. And participation makes up a vast amount of your credit and grade for physical education. Okay. Any advice on taking AP Bio as a freshman for those kids that qualify? I think it's a great class. I got to be honest. I think sometime in the future, it's going to go a vast majority, if not all students, are going to take AP Biology in ninth grade. But we'll see how that goes. It started as a pilot, and now it's definitely flourishing. It was just a pilot a couple of years ago. So I think it's a great introductory to AP classes, not really an introductory. I mean, it's a great first AP class, absolutely. And we're happy to be able to offer AP classes to ninth graders. So the locks must be purchased from your school in the first week. What about a locker for the kids to put their coats in? So the locker to put your coats in, you can use any lock you want. That I don't care about. If you forget your lock or whatever, we could just, the combination, whatever, we could just clip that. That's not our concern. Our concern is the one that you use in your for your gym, physical education. Will kids be allowed to keep their phones throughout the day? Yeah, sure. They're There are times that you can take out your phone. There's a lot of times you can't. But yes, you can use you could have them throughout the day. Okay. So somebody asked about, I'm not going to publish your name, but our kid, oh, maybe I will, but our kid is trans. What's the locker room situation for physical education for, so we have a separate locker room that's right next to the regular locker room, the larger locker room. And so if your kid is trans and prefers to use that other locker room, that's up and running, and that's not an issue. All right. Okay. When will student be informed and confirmed about the language class they select? So when you see your schedule. Um, my kid didn't take the Regents exam in private school and middle school. When does she need to take the exams, and what subject does she need to take? That you need to talk to your guidance counselor about. If we accept credits, we're talking about only really 8th grade classes. So let's say you took living environment in 8th grade and we accept the credit, and you haven't taken the Regents, you're going to need to take the Regents. You'll take it in January. So other class like that, let's say it's Algebra 1, you're going to take it in January, right? So you're going to catch up on your Regents in January if your credits have been accepted, right? So that's it. So speak to your guidance counsel on that. Are boys allowed to wear shorts, or they do need to wear full pants bottoms to school? No, you can wear shorts. That's fine. Both boys and girls. Should newly transferred 10 grades also report to the auditorium? Sure, why not? No harm in it. I'll put that together. Okay. Okay. Oh, will the session be recorded? Oh, I should have recorded it. I didn't. Let me see. I can record it. Maybe. I think. I don't know if I can record it. I turned that on. All right. I'm not gonna waste anybody's time. All right. I would have worn a nicer shirt if I knew it was gonna be recorded. If student is participating in sports and tryouts happen after school begins, will they be exempt from physical education at that point? No, they will not. The being on a team is not in lieu of day physical education. We do have something in play that if you are a 2-season athlete, like fall and spring, whatever, that you can get P credit, but that does not apply to 9th graders. Do kids need to be picked up on half days, or can they leave on their own? They can absolutely leave on their own. When they're dismissed for the day, they can leave on their own. What's the best advice you can give to parents to support their kids at BTHS? That's a loaded question. I mean, I would say keep a light hand on them, not a heavy hand. I mean, hand in the sense of I'd make sure that they're doing their homework. I mean, if you want to engage them in conversations more of like, what'd you learn today? I think that would be great. But homework is sort of a big deal. And to be honest with you, a lot of students get into our school because they're great test takers, and maybe they weren't so great at doing homework. If you don't do homework in our school, it's not going to bode well for you. The homework varies from enrichment to setting yourself up to know material to hit the ground running for the next day, and you'll find yourself getting lost if you don't do homework, and that has a domino effect that's very swift and very severe. So I would just make sure that they're doing their work. Maybe a little bit beyond, did you do your homework? And the kid says yes. So that would be a little bit of advice, just, and talk to them. Just see if they're having a smooth landing. It's very important to make friends in the very beginning. You have to join clubs. You have to get involved. There's 6,000 kids in the school, right? It's easy to get lost in a mix of 6,000 kids. I don't like to see kids sitting, in a lunchroom that has 1,000 kids at any given time, and they're sitting by themselves and they don't have anybody to talk to. We figure that all out. Even if just an advisory, all you do is make a friend, it works, right? And so we have a lot of mechanisms to meet people, but just make sure They're meeting people. And you know what? If they're not making friends, send us an email and then we'll figure out a way to get your kid a friend. So it could, you really need to find some people to pair up with. But also ninth grade classes are very, especially in the beginning, collaborative in a lot of your classes also to help you make not only collaborative efforts in class, which is great, but to help you make friends, find your way. Okay. How to get your school's PIN and effort to get my child a student email. You could reach out to our parent coordinator, Miss Hoon, and she should be able to get that going for you. When will the schedule be available? Like I said, I'm going to send you something where you could see it. If not, we'll get it on the first day. Our class schedule available now. They should be available tomorrow. Will the school issue NYC student emails for students who do not have one? Absolutely. We'll get that going for you as well. We'll send out information on that. There is no school supply list. I put that a little quickly. In AP Bio, they might ask you to get something, but it's not usually likely that we give out like a school supply list. What time is the door open? Normally you can come to school at 7:30. And not before, and surely you could have breakfast and that's any given day. Can kids ride their bike to school where they lock up their bikes? Yes, you can ride the bike to school. There are bike areas across the street in two different directions. There's huge bike racks and whatnot, but they're on their own with that, right? We don't maintain that. They don't bring them to school. You lock it up. It's not affiliated with the school whatsoever, but there are racks and two sides of the school. When the door is open for students, 7:30 every day. Everybody, the schedule for the first day, everybody, okay, he said to ignore it, whatever, everybody gets in at 8 o'clock first day. Cell phones be locked in pouches? No. When does first period class start on a regular day? First period starts at 8 o'clock on a regular day. Second period starts at 8:45, but that's actually not an exact time. It's like 8:05 or something. But it depends on what your schedule is. When you start depends on when you start, So when the kids get their schedule, once again, I'm backed up over half an hour now. ID cards first day, schedules first day. I'll send you information on how to see your schedule tomorrow. The new DOF no phone policy, not in place yet, so nothing to talk about yet. But I'm not in favor of it. Which entrance do they use to come in? It is on the Center West side on Fort Greene Place. Is there a freshman student's WeChat? I think so. There is. And so you're going to have to, I don't know, the PA will figure that out for you. And so they don't let me on the WeChat. You guys just talk about me behind my back. Do all teachers' departments follow the same grading criteria? No, they don't. It's on the website, and each department is a little bit different. And so they make a grading criteria that fits the needs of their particular subject matter. Student Metro cards are on the first day. Tutoring. There was tutoring in almost every single course, not only after school, but also virtually at night. We have like a Zoom a teacher thing. And so you just go, and that's it. And it's obviously, whether it's Zoom a teacher or it's right after school, it is not, you don't have to pay for anything. It might not be your teacher, but it will be a teacher who teaches that course. School supply list, we don't have that. Where do students change for physical education? They change in a locker room, and so that's it. And they change back. They get their ID card the first day, once again without a picture on it, and then we'll give them the picture ones a month later. They'll know who their guidance counselor is. Yes, it'll be on their schedule. They'll be able to know. So you just go, and that's it. And it's obviously, whether it's Zoom a teacher or it's right after school. Mary, you got to get off. I'm hearing my. It might not be your teacher. Oh, geez, Mary. There you got, yeah, there you go. Just mute yourself. I was hearing myself speaking like 15 seconds ago. That was a little crazy. Anyway, I don't sound great. So you'll find out who your guidance counselor is, but also your guidance counselor will send right away an introductory email to all parents and kids. Hey, I'm your guidance counselor and whatnot, but you'll be able to see it as well. Can you, all right, let me dismiss that. Is there a site student can access textbooks material online? Sometimes some of the books are only on an online forum. Sometimes there is the text and the online version. Sometimes it's only text. So yeah, it just depends on the book. For a schedule change request, where are the freshman counselors? And when. So what happens the first day, they fill out this form for airdrops. We will send you all that information. Okay. They get their ID cards on the first day. Ninth graders come in at 8 o'clock the first day. You're going to get your ID. The question is, oh, you're answering. I see, Mary, you're answering in the post where, all right, I'm going to publish them and whatnot, but you're going to get your ID on the first day. Okay. My child just got in. How do we handle course selection schedule? I don't know what that's about. I'm assuming that you were a August entry, summer school. We'll already make you a schedule, no problem. And so that's that. We know about you. So if that's who you are. If my child has no class first period, does she still need to come in at 8? No, absolutely not. You can come in and get breakfast, but you just need to show up in time for your first class, whatever your first class is. Can you only purchase gym uniform with cash? How much is the gym package? I don't know how much the gym package is. I don't know if you know, Mary. I don't remember how much it is. But I think
I think it might be $40.
Okay, but you can use a credit card up there, right?
No, it's cash only, and you can buy them in the gym the first week in PE class.
Okay, so thank you for that. So what Mary's saying is you can buy them the first week in PE class, obviously in cash. You can buy in the SGO store in cash. No credit cards. Okay, we gotta get on the credit card thing. Are there ways to get involved in clubs before October open house? That's sort of our launch of the clubs. Not really. And so you can't. Clubs don't meet before the open house, so there's no real way to get involved in them until they start meeting. Students assign lockers. So cell phones. That's not letting me publish this one. I don't know why. Students assign lockers. Yes, you ask for lockers. You get assigned. What is the policy? I mean, mostly assigning is a teacher will be like, if you want a locker, take one in the back. That's it. They don't record who has what locker. We're not in the locker business in that regard. What's the policy around cell phones? You can have them. Use them in a fruitful way. In class when a teacher wants you to use them, keep them away when a teacher doesn't want you to use them. On your free periods and lunch, as you see fit. What is the hour requirements for volunteering? Oh, I should know that off the top of my head. I don't though. And so you got to do a certain amount of time to get credit. That should be on the website. But we'll let you know all that. I just don't know that off the top of my head. Okay. When will Jupiter Ed be assigned to parents? You'll have that right away. You'll have access literally right away. Jupiter Ed will be all set up tomorrow. And you will have, by the first day, you'll have access to that. You get your Metro card on the first day. What entrance on the first day? That's Fort Greene Place. Do classes have air conditioning? Air conditioning is in all the classrooms, but not in the hallways. Also not in the auditorium, but in the cafeteria and in all your classrooms. Is there anything else to do during lunch besides eat lunch? Sure. Talk to other kids, read a book, look up something on your phone. There's kids that play all sorts of games, card games and other games and whatnot. Talk to friends, make friends. There's a whole lot to do. Yeah. Okay. My kid was at orientation, which was great. Only issue trying to figure out which stairs are up, which stairs are down. If that's the only issue your kid has, your kid is going to do fabulous. And so signage is there is signage if you know where to look and whatever it says up down. But they'll get the flow of it. When you try to go up a down staircase, you'll find that 500 kids are walking the opposite direction. You'll figure out pretty quickly. Okay. Are there lockers that students can use? Yes, in many classrooms. You get your BTH email about a month in. Is the advisory same as prefect? Absolutely not. We don't really have a prefect, even though you do have a prefect. They don't meet. Advisory is everything from social emotional help, lessons on how to take notes. The very first lesson is that you walk around the school and figure things out, a more orientation type of stuff. So there's a lot of social emotional learning stuff. There's learning how to take notes, learning how to sort of adapt to high school and especially adapt to Brooklyn Tech. It's really good. And so it gives you a real lot of information. So it is a class. It's not just sitting around. It's a class that will be on your transcript. You get a grade for it. How do you know if your kid's selecting AP Bio? I guess you have to wait in to see your program. When will the first marking period end? How many marking periods are there? Oh, now you're making me go into the archives. I have to spend it somewhere. Hold on, give me a second. The first marking period ends on November 15th. Teachers get in grades by November 20th. Then parent-teacher conferences are the 21st and 22nd. There's just two marking periods a term. So there's a marking period halfway through the first term, and then at the end of January, there's another marking period. The January grade is transcripted. That's what colleges see. Then you get a grade mid-April, and then you get the final grade in June. That's what colleges see. The mid-April grade and the mid-November grade are really like just an arbitrary date. I mean, it's pretty equidistant, like in the middle of your semester, but those are not transcripted grades. Like literally, as soon as you see the grade might be altered a little bit because maybe they handed an assignment that they did really well on, and and it changed their grade a little bit. So it's just like a progress report, if for lack of a better term. But the January grade and the June grade are transcripted, go to college grades. For a sophomore joining in, do they have an extra orientation or they just go to period 2? The new sophomores can come at 9 o'clock. That's fine. I'm sorry. I'm glad I'm not recording this. 8 o'clock. They can come at 8 o'clock the first day. 8 o'clock. Okay. All right. Yeah, everybody's asking me now people ask me to record it, Mary, but I'm not recording it. Can you record it, Mary?
I don't know. I was looking for
Is there a
that.
button? Like I was looking for the button. I don't see the button and I enabled recording.
Oh.
I don't know. All right, you futz around and see if you can find a button. If you can, you could just hit record and it should be good. Okay. Okay, day 1 starts at 8 a.m. Arrival by 7:45. Good. That is perfect. When will the admission for students that complete Summer Discovery Program be available to accept? So this keeps going. I think you should be good. But if you have any questions and you're not sure if you're in, contact me. I think I talked about advisory already. Once again, I'm reading questions that are now 45 minutes old. So I started with a queue of 300 questions. I'm now at 400 questions, so I'm not answering as fast as I should. Do students take AP class in the freshman year? You could take AP Bio. Any AP class that you take, you are expected to take the AP exam. If you do not, we strip the AP designation away, and it actually does not say AP on your transcript if you don't take the exam. And it does count as college credit. Obviously, take the exam. Okay. Will there be a shelter-in-place drill during the first week if the kids know what to do in case of emergency? How will parents be notified in case of emergency situation? Okay, so we do drills, that mandate drills, and some of them are like shelter-in-place, hard lockdown drills as well. If there's an emergency situation, I will notify parents. I do not notify you when there's a drill. So if there's an emergency situation, we have to evacuate or something, I'll tell you probably very concise little information that you need to know because I'm obviously dealing with the whole scenario. So if we do have to evacuate for real, I will definitely let you know instantaneously. We're currently evacuating, where we're evacuating to, and how safe your kids are at the moment. And so those happen occasionally. You never know, right? And so anyway, yeah, I'll inform you and whatnot, and I'll surely tell you as much as I can, as quickly as I can. And that, I can instantaneously email all parents from my cell phone. I don't need to be, in the building, sitting at my computer. If I'm outside evacuating the kids, I'll be literally, sending you little short messages as we go. On the first day of school for freshmen, does everybody report to the auditorium at 8 a.m. regardless of their start time? Yes, they do. Is school going to be able to leave school? Is a student be able to leave school for lunch? No, you're not. You could bring in lunch from the outside, you could eat it inside, but you cannot leave. And so we have what's called captive lunch, and we keep your kids captive throughout the day. There is no school supply list. Where is the parent coordinator office? Mary?
1W7 on the first floor. You have to make an appointment.
All right. Good stuff. All right. Mary, oh, by the way, Mary, who's talking, is our parent coordinator. I don't think I introduced you as such. Okay.
Well, because I didn't come till late.
Are students allowed to leave the building during lunch free periods? Absolutely not. Now, you can leave at the end of your day. Your day ends at 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock, 8th period. So you can leave the building, and then let's say you have a club after school at 3:45, but you're leaving at 2 o'clock because that's when your day ends. You can then come back in. And so you can leave only at the end of your day, but then you have a club or a team or something later on, you can come back. 9th grade starts 8 o'clock on the first day. Yep. Clubs start usually beginning of October. It launches with a big club fair. How do holidays affect the 10-day cycle? A perfect example is when you start school. So you start school on a Thursday, that's going to be a day 4 because Monday was a day 1, Wednesday was a day 3. You're starting on Thursday. You're starting on day 4, then you go to day 5 on Friday, and then next week is day 6 through 10. If a holiday, let's say, I don't know, let's say Martin Luther King Day, it's on a Monday, right? In January, let's say it was supposed to be a day 6. We just skip and then you go to day 7, which is on the Tuesday. Get it? So we just keep running, whether there's a day or not. Then we do a little bit of modifications. If we find out that, hey, there was a lot of Mondays that got hit, we might convert some other days to even things out, especially so you can have proper number of physical education days and whatnot. So we do at the end of each semester, we end up like changing a few days in the number just to even things out, but not too much, not too crazy. Do students get a Brooklyn Tech email? Yes, probably about a month in. Are students allowed to use a tablet for note taking? Absolutely. Can students bring their cell phone to class? They could bring them with them, but they can only use them if a teacher says you could use them, right? And that is rare. Can you'll get access to Jupyter, you'll get an invite, and it'll set you all up. I think you might be getting that tomorrow. If not, you'll get the first day of school. Can you talk a bit about the new DOE cell phone policy? I talked about that. It's not going into effect yet. One of my stance on phone-free schools, my kid, I'm against phone-free schools. So that's my own personal stance. I have a homework question. If any homework is online, is that cloud-based like Google Classroom? Some homework might be online, but they don't have to submit it until not that night. Homework is not due until the quickest it can be due is by class time the next day. right? It must be assigned in class, right? You can't say, check my website, my Google Classroom, but at 8 o'clock tonight, and you're going to see homework, and then you have to submit it by 1 in the morning. Absolutely not. They have to know exactly what the assignment is by the time they leave class, and the earliest it could be due is not that night, is in class the next day. Can you explain the major system? I did that already. I'm just thinking that these are probably old questions. What somebody makes successful at Brooklyn Tech? What are your best tips to a new student? Do your homework, pay attention, make a friend, and make many friends. Make a friend in every single class. That is important. Don't fall behind at all, especially not in the beginning. Right? So that's that. If something happens, look, you have to miss some school in the beginning and whatever, make sure you're on top of things, going to Google Classroom, finding a friend so you can get some information from or whatever. Missing work, missing time has a very quick domino effect in a negative way. So I don't know. That seems doom and gloom, but okay. Are all assignments posted on Google Classroom? Yes, yeah, that's usually the way it goes. Can you tell me a little bit about lunch? It's food. It's great. I don't know what else to say about lunch. It's nutritious. Sometimes it's hot. Sometimes it's cold. Sometimes you get to choose. But everybody, even though there's over 1,000 kids in every single lunch period, everybody will get lunch. And lunch is a huge place for students to socialize. And like settle down a little bit, and like have like, just a little break from all the rigor of all your classes. I don't know what else you want to know about lunch, but that's enough. What time would they be marked late? I don't know, like 1 second after the bell rings. And so late is late. Okay. Is community service required for graduation? Absolutely. We're trying to raise good citizens around here. Can you tell me about safety and security at Brooklyn Tech? I don't know exactly what you want to know, but we have 11 deans. We have an assistant principal just of health and safety. It is about as safe as a neighborhood and about as safe as a school as you can get. Things you hear about that happen at other high schools simply don't happen at our high school. You might be like, oh my God, 6,000 kids, but Brooklyn Tech's a different animal, and it's just the problems that plague some other schools like literally don't happen at Brooklyn Tech. I'm not saying we don't have problems. Surely there are some problems, but it is a very safe school in a very safe community. When's the student store open? I don't know, like all the time. It's actually open lunch periods. But you'll find a lot of access the first few days, but usually you go during your lunch period. What do you love most about being the principal of Brooklyn Tech? Oh, see now, I don't know if we have time for like my pie in the sky ideas. For me, Brooklyn Tech is my home. I mean, I've been there almost my entire career. And I grew up at the school, and so not as a student, but as an adult in many ways. And so it's just, in some ways it's all I know, and in some ways, as through the years, this is like a dream job for me. And so I don't know. I mean, the easy answer is I love the kids, and I do have this program, Snacks with the Principal, that every single week I get to meet 20 kids, and we hang out in my office, and we get to know about each other. Hopefully they come from more than the snacks, but the snacks are pretty good too. But yeah, any time in my day where I can interact with kids is a great day. That doesn't always happen as much as I want, but yeah. All right. I don't know if that answered the question at all. The ninth graders need a graphing calculator. It totally depends on what class you're in, and your teacher will let you know. What is a GPA? That's your grade point average. That's an average of all your classes cumulatively. So in your first semester, you have a GPA of just your class in your first semester. Then the second semester will be an average of your first semester and your second semester. And it goes on and on and on. My daughter took the Regents exam and got a good score. However, they said she can't take AP English in your freshman year. Yeah, you can't. It's not a freshman class. And so it doesn't matter what you got in the Regents. It's not a freshman class. And so AP English, there's a junior class and your senior class, and you just gotta wait. It's everybody needs to submit a medical form. Oh, I don't know anything about that. Does everybody have to submit a medical form?
I don't think so. Only if they're PSAL sports players. They have to have their vaccines updated by like their senior year.
Got it. Okay. Sports tryouts. Yeah, all the information is on the website. There's a sports area. Oh, damn, I published the wrong. Oh, whatever. What medical forms? I already answered that. Where do we find out where tryouts will be? That's usually on the website. There's a sports area for that. Will it be a full day, Thursday and Friday? Absolutely. Can students pick up a planner before school starts? We gave up planners in orientation. If you miss orientation, we'll get you one.
If you missed orientation, then come see me in 1W7 and I'll give your son or daughter a planner.
There you go. What is the number of the main office? I don't know, what is the number? 6,400, right? I think it's
Yeah.
718-804-6500, and that gets you to your elaborate. We don't really have a main office per se, so that's like our virtual main office, and it'll get you into our phone tree, and then it'll take you, depending on where you want to go, it'll put you in the right place. But it's all like automated. It's not, we don't have a main office per se. What about lunch? How's it work? I don't know. You have lunch on your schedule, you go there, you eat food. That's it. I don't know. Okay. Is there additional food you can buy during lunch? No, there's not additional food you can buy. You can probably just, what's the deal? What happens if you want a second lunch, Mary? Did they just give you one or no?
They usually do not.
Oh, wow. Okay. So if you want supplemental stuff, there's nothing to buy. We do, yeah, I guess you just have to bring some additional snacks with you. Are the mandatory clubs scheduled at reasonable times so they're not out very late? Absolutely. Most clubs, you're talking about an hour. And so that's usually how long they meet, maybe an hour and 15 minutes. Is advisor the same as prefect? I already answered that one. My daughter took the Regents exam. All right, yeah, just answered you. How does changing class work? Who do we work for this if there's a problem? The first day, you fill out a form. Students will fill out a virtual form to add, drop, or make any changes they need to do. Can a student sign themselves out? No. Can you get a permission slip from home to sign yourself out? No. A parent must come and pick up your kids. Can my child receive a DOE? I don't even know what that is. I don't know. I'm not even publishing that. When they get their IDs on the first day. Oh, Mary, you're answering questions. Look at that. Is there enforcement designed to keep kids from being on their phone during class? Yeah. A teacher's gonna get angry, and if the kid pulls out the phone, and then they're gonna tell them to put it away, and probably the next time there's gonna be like, give me the phone, and then we're gonna take the phone, and then the parents are gonna have to come in and pick up the phone. And so this is not a common occurrence. Most kids are not like texting throughout the day and whatnot. They need to leave their phone addictions at the door. And so I can't say that enough. Okay. Sports teams, yeah, a lot of sports teams happen in the beginning. Just check the websites. How you find out the counselor, they'll find out right away when you go in to Jupiter and get the program, but also the counselor will give you an introductory email. All right, moving along. Do students get a hard copy of textbooks and access to a virtual one? Maybe, just depends on the book. You're never going to have to bring in textbooks every single day. You bring them home at the beginning of the semester, you bring them back at the end of the year. What are the hours at student store? It's mostly, but you could buy a uniform in your PE class, but the student store is mostly open lunch period. So you go at your lunch period, and it's in the student store is actually in the lunchroom. Can you take more AP course than AP biology this year? Probably not. Depends on where you are, but probably not. My child will take Italian. She's a heritage speaker. Who does she need to talk to take the language assessment? That is Miss Santiago Campbell, the head of world languages. You can email her right through the website. She could give you a language assessment and accelerate you if she deems it's it's suitable. Kids ride bike to schools, I answered that. How does holiday affect the cycle schedule? Got that one already. When will the market period end? How many market periods per term? There's just one per, well, there's two per term, as I said, in the middle, November, then in January, that's the transcripted grade to college, then in the middle, April, and then transcripted grade in June. Different departments follow different grading criteria. It's all on our website. Kids will also be getting syllabi in each of their classes, and they'll describe exactly how grades work in that particular class. But the grading scale is based on a department criteria, which very well could be different from department to department. What time will they be dismissed on the first day matters their schedule, right? So if their schedule ends at 8th period, it'll be at the end of 8th period. If it's 9th period, so you won't know until you see the schedule, right? And then, and I will send you the bell schedule, the little special schedule for the first day. And that's that. Okay. How can you know how your kid is doing academically and what sort of access do we have to teachers? So one, you can know how your kid is doing every single moment of every single day. You go to Jupiter and it's pretty much, it's live, right? I mean, there might be a couple of days where a teacher's still grading an assignment, but it is live. Those numbers change every day. So you'll be able to log on Jupiter and see exactly how your kid's doing at that moment in every single class. And what kind of access do you have to teachers? If you want to email teachers at any given time and ask them information, you surely can. If you have real concerns, you could surely make appointments to talk to them. They have time during the day for parent outreach, and so they will be able to email you, talk to you on the phone. They're pretty accessible. It usually starts obviously with an email, and then you could set up a phone conversation if you find that that's necessary. And of course, we have parent-teacher conferences, which are done remotely, though, not in the building. Okay. Do I have any plans in the future to limit cell phone use to keep kids focused and not spend time on their devices? Not really. And so I don't know. It's not a big concern of mine. And so I've sort of talked about this already. I think phones could be a great, useful tool in a variety of ways, both in and out of the classroom. So I don't know. You know, your kid needs to break their phone addiction. Okay. Can my child keep an EpiPen in her bag? Yes, but we want them to give the EpiPen to the school nurse who's supposed to administer that. Only certain people can administer. If your child can administer the EpiPen on their own, if they have it, in their paperwork and whatnot. But yeah, you should really reach out to the health and safety office. They should know, obviously, that your child has an EpiPen, needs an EpiPen on occasion. This is all information they should know well in advance. It shouldn't be a surprise to them that your child might need an EpiPen. Okay. What is one question that people don't ask but you wish they did? Oh, I don't know. I don't know. I'm gonna think about that one. Classrooms will be locked and unable to access lockers. No, kids get them at the end of the day. They don't lock their rooms at the very end of the day. They'll be able to get there. Is there options for changing privately for gym for those students who can't change publicly? So we have this other, I talked about changing facility. That is, we call an equal access changing facility for trans students and whatnot. If there's another, I mean, that's pretty private. It's not changing in front of hundreds of kids. It might be changing in front of one other kid. It might very well be private. But beyond that, that's what we got. Students get their Metro cards the first day. Oh, Jacob's answering questions. I don't even know what you're referring to, Jacob. I should have made you a moderator, and so I can't redo it. Okay. Okay. And Jacob, they can't see what you're saying. I don't know what he's talking about. What you know what he's talking about, Mary?
No idea.
Okay. He just said, but they organize it themselves about 40 minutes ago. I don't know what he was talking about. Okay.
Oh, I know what he's talking about. He's talking about the buses, which I answered publicly.
He's talking about the what?
I think he's talking about buses, private
buses.
Okay.
All
But
right.
no one is able usually to organize private buses because all the
Okay.
varying schedules.
Got it.
So I
Jacob,
found a button to
Jacob,
transcribe, but I can't get it to happen. So maybe you can. I mean to record.
wait, you
You want to
found
look
it?
at it? Yeah, look up under more at the top of your screen.
Yeah,
Okay, click on those three dots. It says record and transcribe. Is it already recording?
I don't see that. When I click on more, all I see is restart event, meeting info, language and speech, and settings.
Oh, well, I don't know then. Maybe
I
it's
don't know
recording
either.
already. I guess we'll
Okay.
find out.
Okay. So Jacob, if you want me to say something instantaneously or something, just send me a text and I'll read it out. Okay. All right. Okay. Okay. Are the lockers just for gym? No, there are lockers in classrooms that have nothing to do with gym, and you could use those, right? But the gym lockers, you cannot leave your stuff in the gym locker room overnight. That is just for that period. So you lock your stuff away, you change into your gym uniform. Then you come back from physical education, you get your stuff out, you change out of your gym uniform, right? And you take your stuff with you. You can't leave your stuff there overnight or even after the period's over, right? There are other locker rooms that you could leave stuff in inside the classroom. Okay. Okay, sounds like you need two locks, maybe one to hold for your locker and one for your gym locker. That is correct. But once again, the PE locker that you use, you need to use our lock. The other one, whatever. Okay. Does student transit cards work for Long Island Railroad? No, there's an application and to get a discounted Long Island Railroad card, but you do have to pay for that. It's not free like the Omni card is. Um, Um, okay. I have 5-4 to submit. By when do I have to submit it and who do I submit it to? See, that's a good question for you, Jacob. And so if you want to text me that answer, I'm about an hour behind now in questions. But you are going to submit that to our AP Special Ed's office. And there, okay, you're gonna type Mary on that? Okay. Um,
Yeah.
Okay. Can you ensure no boys be allowed in the girls' bathroom? Well, I don't know exactly what you're talking about. So there are designated boys' bathrooms and there are designated girls' bathrooms, and then we have equal access bathrooms that whoever wants to go into that bathroom as they see fit. And so those are the equal access bathrooms are small bathrooms, normally for one person at a time and they go in there alone. So I don't know if that answers your question, but boys don't go in girls' bathrooms and girls don't go in boys' bathrooms. But then there's equal access bathroom. Okay, I don't know. Okay. Um, all right, Mary, you're like knocking out questions before I even read them.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. Okay. Where do I find the forms to fill out for sports tryouts? I think in the website it gives you all the information you need. All right. Okay. Wait, you knocked out oh, okay. All right. Whatever. Okay. Yeah, students get Metro cards the first day. What is the policy for cell phone use? I already talked about that. Yes, during lunch, class breaks, not a problem. Don't care whatsoever. Even if a kid's in the hallway using their cell phones, that's fine. Hopefully they won't bump into anything. There are no uniforms in our schools. There's a physical education uniform, but we don't have uniforms otherwise. They can wear comfortable clothes that they feel comfortable in. Are there chances for students to join teams? Yes. And you see their tryouts online on our website. Okay. How will school communicate with students outside of school in an emergency, school closing? So, like I said, even for my cell phone, I have direct communication with all parents and I could type messages to you and whatnot. Not a problem. The same method that is some online platform called Constant Contact that I send you emails through. I can access that through my phone and send you messages whenever I want. All right. Okay, for kids who took the advanced Spanish language exam and orientation, will we get when we get our scores, will you place them in the relevant class on the schedule? That's exactly it. We'll place you into the relevant class. Speaking about AP Bio, what about the students who didn't get a bio course in middle school but passes the algebra regents? I mean, you're talking about two different things here. But if you didn't get a bio course in middle school, you're going to take bio, regular living environment. That has nothing to do with algebra. If you took algebra already, you're going to just advance to geometry. When can students start enrolling AP classes? As early as 9th grade with AP Bio. After that, it really starts ramping up in 10th grade. Does Brookwood Tech provide a school lunch menu? Yeah, I mean, I don't like, there's a menu that you can look at and it tells you. Do we put it on our website, the school menu? Mary, you know the answer to that question?
No, you can look at it the DOE website though.
Got
You
it,
have to go
got
to
it.
the lunch
Okay,
menu, search DOE NYC lunch menu, and they have it there.
yeah.
Hot and cold menus.
Okay, so school provide community service opportunities, absolutely. Some of them are within the school. Okay. How do you keep up the kids' grades and follow the academic proper? I told you that instantaneously in Jupiter. It's live at all times. You could see how kids are doing. Talk to your kids too. But yeah, you could see all that. My child's a transfer sophomore. Should they also go to school? Yeah, should come to school at 8 a.m. That would be great. Um, when do students go to their clubs? Right after school and in the building? Yes, they're right after school and they're in the building, but it's not right after school for everybody. Your day might end at 2:50, but yet clubs don't start till 3:45. So it's after the last period of the day. What are the big mistakes parents of incoming students make? One is you know, helicoptering them too much and being on top of them too much. And in the same regard, some mistakes that parents make is being too little. Is just my kid always got good grades. I don't talk to them about school. They always do great and whatever. So both those things I find is a big mistake. Being too involved and being too little involved. How will the student communicate with an emergency? I talked about that. When it comes to clubs, how many clubs does a student have to join to obtain the submission amount of credits need for their diploma? You basically need to be in a club every single semester and then you're good. I talked about advisory already. Okay. Mary, you're giving me questions. All right. Do you have a piano club? I don't know if you have a piano club. I'm sure we got something. And if we don't have a piano club and you want to start a piano club, then we'll have one. But I'm sure we have something. All right. Are students required to go to the cafeteria for lunch? Will some teachers allow students to stay up in their room for lunch? So they really have to go to the cafeteria because that's the only place to get the lunch, right? Teachers, when they're not teaching, are normally getting lunch on their own, or doing some work in a department office or whatnot. They're not usually hanging out in their classrooms in between class. There's other teachers in there that need the room, and so they're usually in their department offices, and that's not places kids normally go. So they're usually doing work and whatnot. So yeah. Usually eat, you can go see your guidance counselor doing lunch. The guidance counselors' offices are all near the lunchroom, but usually kids just go to lunch. How are kids' schedules curated? So we know all the class you need, we make it work. And so that's it. It's a crazy game of Tetris in many ways, but yeah, so that's that. So I don't know if we need to go in more detail, but basically the computer software knows all the class that you need, and then it spins everything together. We surely don't do 6,000 schedules by hand. Now on the afterwards, there's some errors and we do them by hand, but anyway. Okay. All right. All right. All right, I'm just getting ready some questions that are the same. On the website states that first period begins at 8:05 with the bell schedule. I understand that freshmen need to be there at 8 a.m. next Thursday, but what time are they expected to be in school after that? If they have a first period, it's 8:05. Now, 8:05 does not mean you're walking the building at 8:05. 8:05 is the time that your class starts, maybe on the 6th floor, right? And so you need some time to get there, right? So that's when the late bell rings. At 8:06, you are late if your butt is not in that seat. And it's not even 8:06, it's at 8:05. When the bell rings, you got to be in the seat, right? And so that's when the class actually begins. But that's only if you have a first period, right? And so you might have a later start. Are lockers big enough for musical instruments like a trombone? Absolutely not. So if you have an instrument that you use, what students do is at the very beginning of the day, they go up to the music room, they drop off their instrument with the teacher, and they leave it there all day. And then it's there for them in class, and then if they need to, they bring it home. Okay, when did students get their lockers? They usually get them on the first day. Speaking about PGIO, I answered that question already. That's that question. How do you apply for the robotics team? That's a good question. And so it's sort of the same thing in the fair. The robotics team will be there, and you just like any other club. Okay. Is there support for students transitioning from charter school? Most of their assignments were on worksheets versus writing in composition books, college wallpaper. I don't think anything's exactly, I don't know, different than charter schools, but advisory should help you along the way. If you're finding that you're having issues, I would talk to the teacher, whatever. Things aren't like so different that you need like a special transition plan. I wouldn't think. All right, checking on more about Jupiter. You can check on their progress. Is there an opportunity to meet with the guidance counselor soon? We were told that AP Bio is only available to the student also finished Algebra 1 as well. Also on their other AP course you could take in grade 9 or prep for. There's no other AP class you could take. You would talk to not the guidance counselor, but you could talk to, if you have an issue about AP Bio, you could talk to the head of the biological science department, AP Kelly Lovelet. All right. Can students answer before first period if they want to use a library or the gym? You can't go to the gym before first period. You can go to the library before first period. You could also go to the lunchroom and have breakfast. What is the normal time schedule that students can enter the building? What is the latest the school closes? So last class ends at 3:34. Kids normally have to be out, well before 6 o'clock. It depends on what activity they're doing. Yeah, and then as I said, the earliest you can come in is 7:30. Will we have physical education on the first day? Absolutely. You're going to follow your whole schedule. I mean, I don't know if the expectation is that you're going to change on the first day, but you're surely going to meet your teacher on the first day. Okay, I'm going to send you the info to access your schedule likely tomorrow. Okay, moving along. Do all students have access to the weight room? No. If you're on a team that use the weight room, absolutely. If you are in weightlifting, physical education, absolutely. But you can't just stop in randomly and go work out. No. Okay. NYC student accounts, Mary, this is a good question for you. Child is coming from a charter school. How do they set up their NYC student account?
You email me at mhune@nycschools.gov. You probably at schools.nyc.gov, but you probably see that in the published answers. And also, if you just go to the website, you can find me. And also, you've probably gotten emails from me, so just reply to those emails. It will take some time, though, but hopefully you'll get them before the first day of school. However, if you don't get your schedule before then, there'll be a printed schedule for you when you come in.
Mary, you have a make announcement button on the bottom right, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, can you just type that and then you can type your email right in there? So everybody can see it?
Yeah,
Oh,
didn't even see that before.
Cool. Yeah. Okay. Um, okay. Oh, I think I just missed the question. I think somebody was asking about swim gym. You're later on when you're an upperclassman, you could choose your gym class, the activity that you want for physical education, and that's one of them. I don't think ninth graders get swim gym. Okay, moving along. Today, my daughter went to orientation. She talked to other students who informed her that received the emails about forms about applying for electives, language, and the student ID. However, I didn't receive the same emails. What emails did we send them? Did you send them emails, Mary?
We sent them all sorts of emails. So,
So maybe this parent is not on the email list. If you're not
seems
in
like
the
she's
email
not.
list, if that's what the issue is, email, you can email me.
You can email me, but it's better if you fill out the blue card. You can find the blue card on the website. Fill that out, and I will update the list from there.
Awesome. Okay. Thank you for that. What does the school administration do to help students who come from much smaller schools to adjust to Brooklyn Tech, our massive building, and how many safety officers work at Brooklyn Tech? So, look, it's not like everyone comes from a small school. Like it's I mean, there are no like 6,000 school, kid schools anywhere in the nation, and so I think we do a lot to make it a smaller place, right? And so through advisory classes, through cohorting DDP classes together with English classes with the same students. So there's a lot of opportunities forcing you in clubs and whatever. There's a lot of opportunities to meet other people and make it a little bit of a smaller community. And then of course with majors, they're much smaller than the class at large. And so there's that. I think we do a good job of that. It's very rare that somebody doesn't find their people and find their way through Brooklyn Tech pretty quickly. Everybody's sort of in the same boat, sort of thing. Safety officers, depends. We are not heavily stocked with safety officers. Usually they give you safety officers based on the number of incidents you have in the building, not based on how many students you have in the building. So we actually don't have that many safety officers because we don't have that much things, incidents, right? And so, but we normally have somewhere around 15 safety officers in the building. And that's that. And we do have 11 deans. That's what we got. What year can students start enrolling in AP classes? Early as ninth grade, but it really ramps up in 10th grade. Is it too late to join the robotics team? No. Is it mandatory school uniforms Monday through Friday? We don't have school uniforms at all. Only in physical education, just for physical education. My student goes through Teach Hub and to student documents to find the schedule that isn't there. What should we do? The schedule shouldn't be there yet. I mean, I just made it today. And so I didn't really make it. Somebody else made it, but you should be able to see it tomorrow.
The schedules?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, usually it's not there till the first, usually not there till 2 days before school starts at the.
Yeah, but I processed them today, so they should be able to go in and see.
Amazing.
Yeah, well, okay. And so I will send you information tomorrow on how to see it. But if you can't see it for some reason, don't freak out. Have a schedule. And so your kid will get it on the first day. How do free periods work? Sometimes there's a lapse in your schedule and you have a free period. We don't make free periods on purpose. Not everybody gets a free period. Your free period is basically your lunch. But sometimes you get other free periods just because the classes that you need, this is more likely to happen when you're older, not when you're ninth grade, but somehow your schedule went through, and normally we just give you more lunch. So you might have a 6-period lunch, and then somehow we can only get you into a 10th period advisory, and you have no 9th period class, and we just make 9th another lunch for you. So normally your free period, it doesn't say free period. It just says, it literally will say more lunch. And so, so you'll have lunch, and then you'll have more lunch. And so, you can go, hang out in the cafeteria. You can go into the um, auditorium even. You could go, so a lot of kids go in the auditorium, or you can go, I don't know, there's a library, I guess, and whatever. Yeah. But a lot of kids go to the auditorium or back to the lunchroom. Okay. I'm just getting rid of some questions I answered already. Will Brooklyn Tech be participating in the other options to regions suggested by the New York State? Not anytime soon. I mean, we're gonna have to examine all that stuff, but right now we're just giving the regions, and we'll see what's going on. But also those other options that you're talking about, like how they're gonna minimize regions, that doesn't take effect for years from now. That's probably not gonna get rolled out until after your kid graduates. So those are plans that are like literally down the road. They're not for this year. Where can you find a list of majors? That is all on the website, and there you'll see every course offered in every major. Does a 504 require special education intervention, if not the IEP? I guess the short answer is yes, but that's a complicated answer, but yes. Where do I sign the blue card and other necessary forms, Mary?
The blue card is under news and announcements on the bths.edu website. And the lunch form is there also, probably. And if you email me, my address I put down earlier, you'll see a giant auto reply with all this information on it.
All right. Okay, we talked about phone policies. Is there some kind of assistance communication for non-English speaking parents? Absolutely. So we have translation services throughout all sorts of things we do, from documents you can obviously translate that we send, to when you come in person if you need translation services, to if you call the school, we can get translation services on the phone, if you have something you need to talk about, or if something we need to talk to you about. If he missed the exam, can he do it again? I don't know what exam that is. Is it possible that freshmen will not be able to take a language due to space availability? No, that is not possible. You'll get the language that you need to get. Okay. 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 If a kid is on a sports team and has a lot of gear, where do they store that, especially on the first day? If you're on so you're on I don't even get this. So you're not on our sports team, you're on another sports team. I don't know. I mean, if you're on our sports team, there are designated areas that you keep equipment that you might need, with the team, but okay. Do most kids get their majors, particularly in bio and health science? Yes, most kids have their majors. We bend over backwards, and normally, we're somewhere around 95% of the kids getting, between 90 and 95 getting their first choice. All right. How many students in one class? You can have up to 34 students in a class. Many classes do have north of 30 kids. Is there any type of certification a student can graduate with at the end of their Brooklyn Tech path? In other words, is there a certification program? Many of our students take CTE pathways, career and technical education, and those are about, I don't know, about 40% of our majors are CTE, and you get a special, you can get not only get certifications, but you get a special designation on your diploma. All right, moving along. Well, I'm only an hour behind the questions now. If the teacher is absent, should they contact teachers for work, homework, or is it all in the Google Classroom? Yes, it's all in the Google Classroom. Please bring a note when you're absent. That's very important to teachers. Our parents notify the school if child is absent. You don't call the school whatsoever, but there's a note that you fill out and you literally say the reason they're absent and then a space for all the teachers to sign. So the student presents that note to the parents, like our official note. For lunch, can students warm, use a microwave at school? No. You said all ninth graders start school at 8 a.m. on day one. Do all ninth graders start the school at 8 a.m. all year? No, you just start when your schedule begins. It might not be 8 a.m. Will parents have access to a student's Google Classroom? No, they don't have access to the Google Classroom, I don't think, but you do have access to Jupiter to check all the grades. How do kids get into leadership class? You just say you're interested, and then we see if we can fit in your schedule. If students join a sports club, will it just be like a normal after-school club? Sure. My son really wants to do the leadership program for ninth grades. Was there anything else to fill out besides the survey? No. Do students pay for lunch? No. Speaking about APGIO, I answered that already. How many airdrops can kids request and for what reason? You can request it for anything under the sun. You don't really have to give reasons. And so we just see what we could do. How do I sign up for AP classes? Normally that happens towards the end. It's like for 10th grade, there's a window that we have a class fair, and then you fill out the survey of the classes that you want. That's like in March. Is there any other AP? I answered that. Can I come and buy a gym uniform tomorrow? No. Speaking, all right. All right. Somebody keeps writing the same question over and over again. Can students study and do homework in the library after school? How long will they stay there? Yes, they can. I think so. Mary, what time do they stay till?
I think it's 4.
Okay.
I'm not sure. Maybe 5.
No, I
can't
think it's
remember.
5 because a lot of kids just get.
Yeah.
I think it's 5. I think it's 5.
Right.
That the library stays open. If a student joins a club when they leave school, it could be anywhere between 5 and 6, depending on the club. Is there any case that an 8th grade Regents credit isn't accepted? No. The Regents grade, if you're talking just about the not the course grade, but the grade of the Regents, if you take a Regents grade, it's automatically on the transcript. If you take a Regents in 8th grade. Are students required to join a club? Yes. Are girls allowed to wear skirts? Sure. There is a dress code policy on the school's website. If a child does a school sports but gets out 8th or 9th period, are they allowed to leave the building, get a snack, and come back? Yep. Are there showers in the locker room and a time given to freshen up after gym? Sure. How does my child know who their guidance counselor is? You'll find out. You could find out on Jupiter. You can find out. I believe it's on the program, and then your counselor will be giving you an introductory email. Does the needed for gym uniforms? Yeah, it's a Brooklyn Tech T-shirt with shorts. You don't really have to buy our shorts, actually. The Brooklyn Tech T-shirt's like the important thing. The idea here is to have like a uniform that's loose fitting, constructive to doing this type of activity, but also to be able, if we go outside, to be able to know that you're one of our students, right? Yeah, that's all right. Okay. I'm moving up. I'm getting there. Answer that. Answer that. How do you grade students' class participation and homework? So when you look at the criteria for grades, you will see class participation makes up a certain amount of participation. Usually it's not just like I'm raising my hand. It's when they're doing group activities, when they're doing other things, class work that, they're engaged in the work. It's not just like you raise your hand once and answer a question, that's class participation. But it depends on, course by course, It's usually doing some type of task in class. Homework as well. Some teachers are just grading that you did it. Some teachers thoroughly go through it and actually give it numerical grades. But yeah, they're normally checking all that. And so there are no uniforms. The first day of school, Fort Greene Place, 8 o'clock. Does the principal have the authority to announce school cancellation in advance besides the chancellor if there is inclement weather? No. And so the chancellor is the only one that closes schools, and they do not close individual schools unless there's a problem in the individual school, right? Like I don't know, like the heat goes out in the middle of the winter at Brooklyn Tech, right? Then I could ask the chancellor to close Brooklyn Tech, right, for that emergency but I have no authority to do that. But things that affect the whole city, weather and whatnot, that is completely up to the chancellor and the mayor. Can kids you lock with a key for regular lockers so they don't have two combination members? Sure. Are there guidelines in place to help prevent students from having multiple tests or projects on the same day? Absolutely. There's a testing schedule on the website, and we tier it so you cannot have more than 2 tests in a day. But yeah, so there's like literally a testing schedule. There's days that certain subjects can and cannot give exams, and so it's staggered. Okay. Is advisory what used to be called prefect? No, advisory is an actual class. All right, yes, we provide tutoring. If you want enrichment, if you want and if you're falling behind, absolutely. What time is breakfast and lunch? Breakfast is served from 7:30, I think, all the way through, like, I don't know, like 9 something, right? But it's depending on your schedule. You can't skip class, go to breakfast, but you come beforehand. Lunch starts as early as 10, like 20, and goes all the way up to like 2:50. So
Lunch goes till 2.
2? No, that's
Yeah.
8th period. There's a 9th period lunch. Yeah.
Okay.
9th period lunch. You can get 9th period lunch. Most kids who have 9th period lunch, it's the last period of the day. That's known as the senior lunch. But anyway, okay. Do we offer any advisory class or options for organizing skills to succeed in high school? Yeah, that's exactly what we do offer in advisory. Okay. My kid is an elite athlete competing nationally at 4 hours of practice every weekend night. What's the possibility of getting PE credit given the amount of physical activity she's already doing, or can she use that time to do some homework? No. And so this is gonna seem harsh. I know you're a nationally ranked athlete and whatnot, but we do not give PE credit for that. So you have to be on our teams, or you have to be in a class. What time is breakfast served? I got that. Is it mandatory school uniforms? No. What's the last time they could say at school? Already answered that. Answered that. Answered that. Answered that. Oh, I'm moving. Can my student be a tutor? Absolutely. So through we have peer tutoring through our National Honor Society, and students actually get like community service credit or like volunteer credit for doing so, but you have to be in NHS. And so if you're in NHS, you could be a tutor. And they set up the whole thing. Okay. Is it possible to have twins have the same start and end time for the schedule so they can commute together? If you really want to, I'm sure we can make that work. All right. Maybe only 9th grade though. Is there a book report due for 9th graders? I mean, I don't know if we call it a book report anymore, but surely you will read books and you'll write information about those, maybe essays and whatnot, depending on what the demands are for your particular ELA class. Students join clubs beginning of October. Okay. How many regions can be taken in ninth grade? Really depends on your schedule, right? So you're gonna have a math regions, you're gonna have a science regions, depending on what science you take, you're gonna still have a regions. Um, you, you do not have an English regions, that is later on. You do not have a social studies regions, that's later on. What else am I missing? I think math and science. Am I missing something else? I don't know. Maybe it'll occur to me. All right. How to check my schedule online? I'm gonna send you how to look at it. I'll send that tomorrow. When do we fill out blue cards and other necessary forms? Where? It's on the school website, right, Mary? All right, she left me. May you please explain what forms airdrops are? I think you're talking about the airdrops. Kids are going to get all the information about it. It's all drop downs. I want to add this course. I want to drop this course. We send it all to them. It's pretty self-explanatory. Do we have printers for the students to use? Yes, we have printers for the students to use in the library. We also have printers in the cafeteria that they can come in with a flash drive and put it right in the printer and print out anything they want. Is it mandatory to purchase gym uniform? Yes, it is. Is there a dedicated locker room for my child? I don't know what that means, but there's a locker room for all kids.